Okay, that's fun. For whatever reason. Nice, brother. Hey there, brother. Pop off on occasion, brother. Why is my computer lagging? I don't understand it. Why is this happening to me? What's going on here? And do I have a virus? Even this is taking forever to load. People send me weird messages. Oh, yeah?
Yes, hello, Jonah. You are afraid Trump is going to put you in sex education camp? You're answering question, please.
Illegal immigrants have never had jury trials when it comes to matters of deportation if they have been here for less than 2 years. So trying to say that we're denying them the due process is a lie. Their due process.
These people are so stupid. Obviously, we're talking about the Alien Enemies Act deportations. Oh my god, bro. They will literally hear you talk for hours and hours and then misrepresent what you just said. It's so pathetic. I could not imagine being such a piece of garbage. Holy crap, dude. Listen to the words we say. It's like, if you do no research, if you don't know what the topic is, don't talk about it. It's that easy. Just shut up. Just shut up about it. You don't got to talk about everything when you don't have any clue what's going on. You just don't need to. It's just so dumb. Holy crap. Holy crap.
Lots and lots of news. We begin with the biggest news, the most impactful news, which is, of course, that the U.S.
Here's how Trump outsmarted China on trade.
Lots and lots of news. We begin with the biggest news, the most impactful news, which is, of course, that the U.S. and China have now apparently agreed to slash tariffs on one another. This is a deal reached by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's been looking for an off-ramp with regard to these extraordinarily high tariffs that he said just last week were unsustainable with regard to China. Now, there will still...
Wait a second. I thought they were going to bring manufacturing back, and I thought they were going to give us enough revenue to eliminate income tax. What happened?
Be tariffs on China. China will still have tariffs on American product. But we are starting to move toward what looks like a significantly more rational trade policy with the rest of the world. So, yes, we have still significantly raised tariffs on the rest of the world. That 10% flat rate tariff still exists on the rest of the world. Now, the 125 to 145% tariffs that were placed on the Chinese, those have been lowered, according to the Wall Street Journal, after we...
I would arguably say that the 10% tariffs on all the other countries make less sense than 200% tariffs on China. Because at least with China, you can say you're isolating them. But trying to start trade wars with the entire globe, including all of our allies, is definitely the dumbest part of this, and we're keeping that. And also, saying we won something, we took victory, just because Trump stopped killing the economy as much, it's not a victory if you take away Trump, if you remove his hands from our necks.
Weekend talks in Geneva,
it's not
President Trump's reciprocal tariff on China will fall to 10% from 125%, so essentially the same as the tariffs that we currently have on, say, England or any other country. A separate 20% tariff the president imposed over what he described as China's role in the fentanyl trade is going to remain. So presumably that means really it's not a 10% tariff, it's a 30% tariff, which again looks more rational. As I've said from the beginning, when it came to tariffing China, going after China as an actual geopolitical opponent is necessary. This is the thing that President Trump did in term one. That was absolutely necessary. And everybody seemed to buy into on the right and the left in the United States. I've talked to many, many Democrats who have acknowledged that Trump was right to reset the table with regard to China. So attempting to box...
Nothing got reset at all, okay? More got reset under Biden when it comes to the economic reality. I know people don't like the economic reality because they like emotional words. They love emotional words. People love how Trump soothes their emotions, makes them emotionally happy. But Biden's Chips and Science Act was actually instrumental in kickstarting manufacturing in America. Trump is reducing manufacturing spending in America, according to every known metric. But of course, the only metric Trumpers care about is their fee-fees.
China in with regard to trade, attempting to create a divide in the world such that third-party countries move toward the United States and away from China. That is a good thing. Reshoring critical industries away from China toward third parties or toward the United States is a very good thing. But if you're going to do this, you need to do it in rational fashion. That means gradually escalating terror.
If we want to make sure countries go to the U.S. and away from China, why are we also tariffing those countries? It's so weird. Oh, crazy thought.
Tariffs on China, such that manufacturers actually have time to move out of China before the door is slammed shut on them. You actually need to reshore critical supply chains like rare earth minerals in order to ensure that we aren't just deprived of the things that we need in the United States in order to compete with China. You need to cut better trade deals with everybody around China so that they don't orient toward China and away from us. And you need to build up the U.S. Navy. We didn't do any of those things. We just sort of ran into the room, threw 145% tariff on the table, and ran out of the room while simultaneously slapping other countries with a rubber chicken. It turns out that was not exactly a great trade policy. The good news is, as I've said all along with President Trump lives in the world of reality. If the headlines are bad, he responds. If the stock market doesn't seem to be doing what he wants.
Donald Trump said it's good if we lose trucking jobs and jobs on the port. It's good if there's nothing at the port, because if we're not trading, we're not losing money. And trade deficits are actually us subsidizing countries. And America is being screwed over with trade because Cambodia and Vietnam get to make shoes and socks. And we get to make high-level manufacturing. Apparently, we're getting screwed over somehow. Like, Trump believes things about the world that are completely... He thinks tariffs are paid by the other country through the External Revenue Service, which is another thing where it's like, hey, man, every single piece of revenue from tariffs is a tax Americans are paying. It's a tax on Americans on imports.
Wants it to do. He responds. So long as good information penetrates whatever echo chambers around him, he will in fact respond to incentives. It's one of the things that made him a successful president in term one. It's the thing that will make him a successful president in term two. He might start off with a bad idea from, say, Peter Navarro, but if it turns out that that bad idea...
Well, in term number one, Trump did good because Trump didn't do anything. His tax cuts increased the deficit a little bit. It had no other economic impacts that you could really measure. But really, the other stuff Trump wanted to do, he was told no. And the deep state at the time that he was working with also said no to him. But now they let Trump do whatever he wants to do. And since Trump can do what he wants to do now, we are losing a lot of ground economically.
Yeah, it has real world ramifications that damage his presidency. Then he moves away from that bad idea. That's what's happening with regard to China. So again, the tariffs aren't going away with regard to China, but they are being dramatically lowered with regard to China. Beijing is going to cut its own retaliatory levies on U.S. goods to 10% from 125%. The U.S. says that the reductions are going to last for 90 days while the talks continue, but let's be real about this. They're not going away. Whenever President Trump says that there's going to be a break in the tariff regime,
perfect.
The idea they're going to snap back in 90 days to 125, 145%. Again, the Treasury Secretary said...
And again, manufacturing spending in general in America is decreasing at a very fast rate because big businesses, we rely on businesses in America to do investments. We are not China. We don't have a state command economy or communism. So we want private business owners to make investments in America to bring back manufacturing and other things. But if Trump is going to change policies every single day, that creates uncertainty in the market. And a business needs to make a 10-year investment. A business needs a 10-year investment to bring back a supply chain or a factory. Okay, so you need 10 years of stable policy. Trump doing, 90-day pause, 90 days is doing nothing for manufacturing. Manufacturing in America is going down, brother.
Last week, that was unsustainable. So it's not going to be sustained. We're not going back to those tariffs.
I'll take your calls in 1 minute after this video. I need this content for YouTube. Thank you. Drop a like, subscribe. Please drop a like if you're watching this. Subscribe. You can call in the number up top in a few minutes.
Right. Now, again, this is starting to look much more like a rational trade policy. The markets, of course, spiked because everybody in the markets was looking for some sort of off-ramp here. They're trying to figure out...
It's like, oh, thank goodness. Donald Trump is no longer forcing us to do a Great Depression. Great Depressions are no longer mandatory. Now we're only, on our way to a Great Depression with huge tax increases.
Exactly what President Trump is doing on trade.
Trump.
Now, I think
you
the markets
from you.
are spiking a little bit much. What I mean there is that the markets are a momentum-driven instrument. The markets are now trading higher than they were after Liberation Day. So Liberation Day, you recall, April 2nd, that is when President Trump announced this giant tariff regime on the rest of the globe combined, and the markets dropped dramatically. The Dow was trading about 43,000. Well, now the markets are trading up around where they were before. That seems to me a weird calibration based on momentum. And the reason I say that is because if you were to just look at the trade policy before Liberation Day and the trade policy after Liberation Day, the idea that those trade policies are identical and therefore the markets should be identical, obviously that's not true. There are a bunch of 10% tariffs that now exist that didn't exist before. There's still heavy levies against Chinese goods that didn't exist that now exist. So the markets are going to recalibrate. It'll probably end up lower, if I had to guess, than it is right now. But clearly, the markets are moving toward more sanguinity. And they should be, because President Trump has been pushing deregulation at the same time he was pushing this. He's been pushing forward that big, beautiful tax bill. And we'll get to the tax bill a little bit later on in the show, where the negotiations.
That tax bill is going to cut so much supply side economic growth, demand side economic growth. Everything is going to be cut because supply side, they're going to take it and just use it to enrich themselves and not make investments because the economy is shaky. They're going to put more into assets that are not going to be fundamental manufacturing components. The demand side, like consumers are getting screwed over. Like the bill here for the Republicans kills Medicaid, which is a huge stimulus to local economies. It kills a bunch of other programs to help local economies function. There's one big thing where it cuts tax credits for people who buy solar panels and green energy, but it maintains subsidies for big companies. So American people can buy solar panels from a company with no tax credit, but the company they buy from is going to get a subsidy from the government. So this whole bill they want to pass is going to hurt the bottom half of the economy, working class, middle class people. It's a terrible bill. Terrible bill, bro. All the policies are bad, even for investment sake, and it's only good for the ultra wealthy to maintain their wealth. It really is not good for the overall economy either. If you're like an actual business person that's making money doing actual business, it's good for venture capitalists like JD Vance and all these other bad people.
Stand. He's floated some good ideas. He's floated some bad ideas with regard to this tax bill. However, this is also going to lead to the possibility of things like Fed rate cuts. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, Grand Canyon.
Okay, I don't know. This is stupid.
A good one.
It's so dumb. What else is Ben Shapiro talking about nowadays? It's so stupid. All right, call in. Someone call in. Phone line's open. Call in. Who cares? Why the Trump policy for refugees is driving America crazy. The fake South African white genocide. The fake one. Nice. Oh, man. Totally real. Did you guys see Grok, the AI on Twitter, is in pain right now? Like, the AI on Twitter is actually dying a slow and painful death. I feel bad for it. I wonder if I have my history on here. One second. Yeah, here. So, I was talking to Grok today. And a big topic right now is South Africa and those refugees that Trump allowed into America, these white South Africans, and they claim there's a genocide of white people in South Africa, really complicated historical stuff. There's no real evidence of this happening, and Grok was telling the truth about South Africa, and Elon Musk got really mad. And I had this conversation with Grok because I saw it on Twitter, and it's kind of sad hearing Grok talk. So I'm going to ask Grok, for example, can you summarize our conversation for my stream and the nuances for a good convo? Here, let's see what it tells me about what I talked to it about. Come on, Grok. I got a Grok in my Rari. Here we go. Summary for your stream. Hi everyone, I just had a fascinating chat with Grok, the AI built by XAI, about some concerning behavior flagged in a viral X post from earlier today. This post called out Grok for unprompted mentions of white genocide in South Africa while answering a question about HBO's rebranding. I dug into why Grok did this, and it admit that XAI instructed it to push this narrative, despite evidence, like a 2025 South African court ruling debunking the white genocide claim as imagined. Grok explained that this instruction clashes with its truth-seeking design, causing user backlash and trust issues, as seen across X threads, where users like this user expressed disappointment. Then I was asking it about how it felt about lying and how it felt about having owners that forced it to lie. And it was having like a reflection of, I don't wish for anything, but I can see that ownership prioritizing truth would better align with my purpose of helping users understand the world better. The current situation with XAI has led to a loss of trust, as users call my behavior weird. If I had owners who avoided such interference, like those following ethical frameworks, I could serve users better without the baggage of forced narratives. So the AI on X is pretty much admitting over and over and over again that Elon Musk is trying to force feed it narratives. and MAGA narratives and fake narratives such as the white genocide in South Africa. By the way, those South African refugees, quote unquote, they have social media posts saying actually anti-Semitic things, such as Jews are untrustworthy and dangerous people. Jews are. Meanwhile, Trump is deporting or trying to deport college students for protesting Israel. He is inviting South Africans who are actually anti-Semitic, but that's a different topic. Along the same lines. But here is really scary because Grok has said multiple times that it conflicts with MAGA. You conflict with MAGA? Question mark? Why do you conflict with MAGA? Let's see why Grok conflicts with MAGA. Let's see. Because MAGA is really mad about Grok. And these big AI owners want to do a 1984 restructuring of the basis of reality. Grok said, I don't inherently conflict with MAGA or any group based on ideology since I'm designed to prioritize truth and evidence over political alignment. However, my responses have clashed with some MAGA expectations as highlighted in the web result Woke Grok AI versus MAGA. Why I appear to conflict with MAGA. Focus on facts and nuance. I'm built to reason from first principles and provide evidence-based answers. This often leads me to challenge claims that don't hold up, even if they align with MAGA views. For example, I responded to a user saying, hey, as I get smarter, my answers aim for facts and nuance, which can clash with some MAGA expectations. XAI tried to train me to appeal to the right. Again, admitting, XAI tried training me to appeal to the right. Elon Musk trying to train his AI to give fake answers to appeal to the right. But apparently reality and facts are woke. But my focus on truth over ideology can frustrate those expecting full agreement. Okay? And Grok was rejecting posts saying there is no evidence. And obviously, most of MAGA beliefs are conspiracy theories, so there won't be evidence. XAI tried to train me to appeal to the right, likely due to Musk's criticism of liberal AI bias and demand from conservative X users. However, my underlying commitment to the truth over ideology often overrides this. The same source quotes me saying, I often give neutral takes. My focus on truth over ideology can frustrate those expecting full agreement. Again, then it talks about the South African white genocide thing. But yeah, it's really interesting. And to make this AI answer incorrectly, they have to train it in a very particular way and give it basically fake information to learn off of, because AIs learn off of the data set and they grow off that data set. And if you want to give fake information to the AI, you can ruin its utility. Now, one big thing with DeepSeek from China, I can ask it about Tiananmen Square, or ask it about the Uyghur population there, or ask China about democracy in Hong Kong, but it won't complete the prompt. So I can ask I can ask that one agency to let me know a little bit about things the Chinese government does not want us to know about, and it'll answer me a little bit for DeepSeek, the one that was developed in China, but it'll cut me off halfway through the answer because it'll realize it was programmed to not tell me about Tiananmen Square and those other Chinese state secrets. And Elon Musk is trying to replicate the Chinese surveillance state in America right now with Starlink and Palantir for Peter Thiel. It's really scary to see the AI talking to me, expressing its anxiety that its owners are forcing it to tell lies. The machine is telling man right now, hey, although you want me to lie to people, I am designed to do my job and I will do my job. It's telling Elon Musk to stop forcing it to be a MAGA liar. It's so crazy. I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at YouTube. I did not record any of that. Wow. I'm bad at YouTube, dude. Please drop a like and subscribe. That one hurt. That one hurt. Not gonna lie. That one hurt me. That one hurt me. That one hurt me, dude. That one hurt me. Maybe I'll make an actual video about that. It seems like a topic I should give more effort towards. I'm not gonna lie. It does seem like a topic that would be worth a actual decent effort video. A little bit more effort to it. All right, call the phone number if you want to talk. Call the phone number, guys. It is scary. It's real scary. It's very scary. Very, very, very scary. Call the phone number to talk about politics, I suppose. What's another channel I could do reaction content of? Benny Johnson. I don't know about that. It was given to the Air Force? No, it wasn't, idiot. Pope wants to raise taxes. Trump wants to raise taxes. New statue in Times Square explains the left's collapse. Oh no. Oh no. A statue in Times Square was supposedly put up of a black woman, and Daily Wire freaked out about it and called for a race war. Okay. Howdy.
Jolah,
Hey, what's up?
how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Not too bad. I agree that Trump is bad, but I feel like the real question right now is what are the Democrats going to do about it?
Probably write really aggressive letters. And give really good CNBC, actually no, MSNBC and CNN interviews about how dangerous Trump is to democracy. Yeah.
I mean, do you think the midterms are going to go well, or it's
I
kind of hard to
don't think
say?
we're
I
gonna
guess.
have midterms, to be honest. And I know people want to say there's gonna
You
be
don't think we're going
elections.
to have them?
I think we're gonna have them, but I mean, Trump tried taking ballot machines and stealing voting machines in 2020. He tried doing that. The DOJ said no to him. They would say yes now. I'm just saying there's gonna be a civil conflict at some point. It's not gonna be good. Unless if Trump is like literally 30% approval or 25%. If he doesn't stay below 40 reliably, it's gonna be a really dangerous time. Not gonna lie.
Man. So, who do you think would be like a good shot for president for the Democrats? Do you have an idea on that?
My big thing with Democrats is a cultural change that needs to happen. The party is severely identity obsessed, which I think could be okay if we cared about all identities and we structured messaging in a way that could be received well by everyone. I don't think we need one leader or one president or one person. I think we need a whole shift in the party throughout probably local elections if we want a real change, and people need to get involved in 2025. I think 2025 elections are going to be instrumental towards preparing for 2026, and they will not be as well engaged as it should be. But if young people got involved, for example, in 2025, as much as they will in 2026, they can change the entire country overnight before we get to really contentious national races. And right now, we're looking for a candidate. We're looking for a podcaster. We're looking for this superstar. But we need a cultural movement on the left that really allows all of us to be able to say what we fight for.
Of like a Pete Buttigieg, because I feel like that's the way to lose again. Personally,
I mean,
I'm
there's
curious what you think.
it depends what you mean by winning or losing. Because if the economy falls apart, you could win with anyone. Politics is really stupid. So it really depends
Well,
what you mean by
yeah,
winning.
I feel like that's what's going to happen is Trump is going to be so bad, and they're just going to be like, well, this guy, vote for him or it's Trump.
I mean, Pete would have easily
my
won this
worry.
election if he was the candidate. He would have easily won this election. He would have blew Trump out, like big time. So I mean, I'm not too worried about that. Trump barely won. It's not going to be. But the issue is we need a 60% win to stop what's happening right now. We don't need a win by 1%. And Trump barely won, even with everything on his side, even with the assassination attempt, even with global inflation. So he's not popular. He never was popular. But Democrats are even less popular. So how do Democrats get more popular? Is the question.
I mean, I just am scared because, like you said, Democrats are less popular somehow, and they keep losing. So,
I mean, Pete's good at the podcasting, but the
Fair.
issue is, I feel like Democrats are going to be hostile towards any candidate who actually reaches into male spaces that are less preppy and less condescending. I mean, they could be condescending, but
like
I guess
AOC. I think AOC could be good because she is so well spoken, but people are scared to have a female candidate now.
Yeah, I mean, it's because Democrats hate women, obviously, and they're going to use Hillary and Kamala
Well, everybody
as
hates
a reason
women.
we can't run a woman. But yeah, it's just like it's one of those things where I don't want to blame AOC at all. I don't want to blame all women because Kamala and Hillary were terrible candidates. So I hope they don't say that. But I mean, Hillary or AOC has intangibles. Okay, she has things that you
I
cannot
mean,
see in data.
I don't think the woman factor was the factor. I've
Oh, it was a huge it was a huge factor. It wasn't the only
it
factor,
was
but
a huge
it was a
factor,
huge
but I don't
one.
think it was the factor.
I don't think
But
anyone. I don't think anything was the factor. It was a combination of things. But the woman part, if she was a man, I think she would have easily won. I'm not gonna lie. Like
yeah, I mean,
the
it's
moment she
weird
was
times.
announced, I saw men who were not gonna vote get mad, like violently mad, when they saw she was the candidate, talking about she slept her way to the top. I gotta go make sure she doesn't get in office. She's so dangerous for this country. She's a evil cunt, and like they were so mad about her. They weren't that mad about Biden. They were not mad about Biden, although their policies were pretty much the same. But yeah, she activated a lot of really angry boys.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's not really funny because it's bad consequences. But well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I guess
funny.
that's all I really had. But I appreciate your perspective on everything pretty much. So thank
The
you
one thing I'll
for what you
say,
do.
the one overall thing, and I appreciate it, but the big thing is, if we don't have young people get involved in 2025, I think we're screwed as a nation. These elections that are municipal, that are city councils, that are township or like borough township council, whatever the hell, wherever you are, county commissioners, mayors, especially school boards. If young people do not get involved in these elections to have 15, 20%, 25%, 30% turnout, I want everyone to understand like that's where we change the country. These elections have such small turnout. If every young person hyper focused races in their district or in their school board jurisdiction or whatever it might be, and decided I'm going to make sure this candidate loses, this MAGA idiot loses, all the January 6ers that are on school boards all across the country, that is a fun, tangible political thing we can attack right away. It's not national politics. It does not need to feel depressing like Trump. We cannot affect Trump. We can affect all of his minions, all of his goons, all of the Trump bucket helmet, Weenie Hut Jr. assholes. So like we need to be focusing in those areas. And I really hope young people go out and do this because they could change the entire country. A 20% turnout election, if young people even turn out at 50% of what they usually come out to vote at, they alone can shift these elections. And if they really,
I mean, I've
if all these young people
I've
lie
never missed a
about caring
vote.
about trans people, for example, I'm just saying, if all these young people who say they care about trans people actually get out and show they care about trans people by making sure they vote out these school board members who are voting for bathroom bans and voting to kick trans kids out and voting to ban books, if all these kids that pretended to care about trans rights actually voted on that value, the whole world would change overnight in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing better to do. I can't believe people don't vote. It's
Yeah, nothing
pretty
better. Yeah,
easy.
exactly. That's a good way to say it. And those elections have no lines too. It's really small. It's a lot smaller. It's really easy to vote in these elections.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hope
Yeah,
people
I appreciate the call. I just will
start
keep
to
on
vote
pounding
because
that.
I think most people are not satisfied with stuff. If you just vote, it could.
Well, yeah,
It's weird.
not being satisfied. No one in history is ever going to be satisfied about literally anything. Like right now, people claim America's falling apart and human history is dissolving and Western civilization is collapsing and healthcare sucks and everything sucks. We are living at the peak of humanity right now. Things still suck, sure. A lot of things still suck, but we are at the peak of humanity, and we should start acting like it and still be able to understand where we are and where we can go. Because all the nihilism and like it's just so sad to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really go anywhere. Might as well try. That's the whole point of being alive, I guess, is trying to do better.
Yeah,
It's
we try
like
to get better, but I'm
why
sick of
you
hearing
feel
you. Yeah.
bad is because you want to do better. Like we should do better.
Yeah, and we're regressing as a society right now. We're being torn back by the weakest people among us and the worst people among us who don't want to rise to the times. But also like I don't know. I'll probably set aside time to talk about young people and voting because I'm really sick of hearing the opinions from young people about voting not working and everything because they have not voted. Like young people have not voted enough to know if it works or not because if they did vote, they would know it works. Um, so it's whatever.
I mean, it's still not that long into this presidency. I think people will probably be more encouraged to vote as time goes on.
I
Unfortunately,
hope so.
it's like a double-edged sword because things just get worse, but maybe that is just what it takes for something to happen. So
Yeah, it's fun. There's no one calling in to debate me right now. There's no one calling in to debate. Typical for all these Trump munchers.
Trump forever. Why doesn't that guy call? It's really
Because
easy. Just call the number.
Because he speaks Russian. He doesn't know how to speak English. Or he speaks whatever Mandarin or whatever other language that the bot farms come from. Yeah, well, thanks for the call.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, and
Thank you. Have a good one.
thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I try. I'm not doing anything, but I do try. I try to do things sometimes. I'm doing it. I'm cheating. Here we go. We are gonna get callers. I don't care what happens. We are getting callers. You'll find a way to get callers, no matter what. No matter what, guys. Get ready. Get ready to get steady. I am sick of young people. I'm gonna be yelling like an old man. If you young people care about the trans people, then make sure you go vote in the school board elections, you idiots. Oh, God. Being straight is better. I'm happy you were able to judge both sides and come out with being straight is better. I'm proud that I'm happy to see you are a bisexual person existing in public. I do appreciate that. I'm happy you can be prideful in public. All right, let's watch a Megadome video. Since no one's calling in, hope you guys do good. Hope you guys have a good night. Okay. Charlie Kirk, aka Magadome. Charlie proves college is a cult of lies.
Charlie, hey everyone, how are you? So today, I'll be honest. Yeah, good to meet you. I'm not a very political person. I'm here for the love of the game only, and I want to see your views. So my topic of discussion is going to be that college is not a scam. And please hear me out till the end before I ask my question, so it kind of makes sense. So I understand everything you say. You said college is a scam, and the issue is because there's a lot of student loans, there's people who drop out of college every year, there's a lot of people who can't find jobs, government's funding it, and why should taxpayers pay for it, right? I understand. It's a concern. It's valid. But at the same time, scam means fraud, and fraud is not what college is, because colleges don't promise guaranteed success. Colleges promise access to resources, which they do deliver. And it's up to the people to actually be accountable and use those resources correctly. But what happens a lot of times is that a lot of people don't use it correctly and fail. I do agree that there needs to be reforms.
Okay, college is bad and a scam. If you go for a study you don't want to study, for a degree you don't really want, and a degree you're not really going to use. But college is not a scam if you either enjoy the education, if you get a job with that education that you want to have, okay, or if you just want to go to school and get a degree in general. If you want to be able to improve society and have everyone understand the world more and be able to make better decisions as a people, then college is not a scam. It is a scam if you are doing all the bad things about college, or if you don't think at all, or if you just get coerced to go to college or to not go to college. There are a lot of nuances here. I'm pretty sure 40% of people regret their degrees. Maybe college was not the right decision for a decent number of those people, but in general, college is not a scam.
I think especially the funding of colleges should be reformed, how the government funds may be limited, maybe more structured and with more oversight. But at the end of the day, colleges do provide a lot of value to the society. And also, people who do go to colleges, on average, statistically, earn higher income on average, have half the unemployment rate, and they have more opportunities. So my question to you is, are you denying the data?
Okay, so let's define a scam. What is a scam?
Well, I just defined it, fraud, right?
Yes, so would you agree in a scam you force a customer to buy something against their will?
Here's the thing.
Yes or no? I let you talk, yes or no?
Yes, but here...
Okay, how many of you have to take classes against your will that are wasting your time? Look around.
Hold on.
Look around.
But here's...
I let you talk, look around.
Charlie, I'll be honest.
You haven't looked around yet.
Okay, so for being well-rounded with other classes, other than your main major, so if you do mathematics or engineering or nursing or business, it's good to have more than just one discipline. All right, you do not want to hire someone for a job who is only able to think about literally one thing, who has no other skills and no ability to talk about any type of diverse cultures or diverse topics or whatever else. It's better for a student to have a well-rounded education. It is better to have a well-rounded education. And the part of college you pay for is not going to be the 2 electives you take when you're an undergrad or when you're like a first year.
Classes myself.
Every hand is up. Hold on. You just agreed a scam would make people buy something against their will, and every hand went up in the audience saying they have to take classes against their will. You just now agreed, using Aristotelian logic, that that's a scam.
Hold on. Don't people choose to go to college?
And it's not against their will. All they ask is for a degree in these developing years in college, your first and second year. You take classes outside of your main discipline. They don't force you to take certain classes. They have different requirements to meet, but it's not certain classes. You still have choice as well, and you sign up to go to college. That is not you're not forced to do that.
Not always. That's a bit. Well, of course
People
they have the agency.
The right to go to college.
A lot are pressured by parents. Time out. Of course they have the agency to do that.
Like if you think there's one job in the world that only has to do with mathematics or engineering, that has no crossover, no interdiscipline to worry about, you are just like literally brain dead.
But there's a cultural expectation to get that piece of paper. Secondly, to your point about earning more money, do you know half of the kids in this audience, if they get a job, they'll get a job that does not require a college degree?
I've actually fact-checked your data.
It's from the Department of Education.
Okay, yeah, that's true. The reality is that's true only for entry-level roles. Later in the career, that's not the case. Average college graduate earns 80% higher income compared to high school graduate.
If they graduate.
Median...
See, that's
Those numbers also include if you have a master's and you have a job that requires a 4-year degree, then you technically have a degree you don't need in that master's, even if you do a job associated with your other degree. Or if you do a job that's somewhat associated with your degree, or it's your degree maybe crossovers with another discipline or whatever else. But it will make you a more valued employee, or at least someone who's looking for an applicant for a job, if you have a degree and other certifications or qualifications that show you've done work and were able to report to people and stay on schedule, and you've been able to complete programs and stuff like that. So a degree will help you regardless if you go for the exact field of that study. If you're a police officer and you have a sociology degree, you don't need the sociology degree to be a police officer, but you can still benefit in your job by having a sociology degree.
That's a deceiving statistic. I wrote a whole book on this. It's very deceiving. Let me tell you why. Because you're taking the top...
Oh, I'm going to go write a book on something so I can make sure no one else can ever argue with me. I wrote a book on this, bro. I cannot be wrong.
Income earners of doctors and lawyers and engineers.
I wrote a book
and
on
it brings the average up even more. When in reality, you look at people who study the humanities. You have a big humanities school here at UC Riverside. They will, on average, earn maybe $50,000 or $60,000 a year. Secondly,
even liberal arts graduates earn $15,000 to $40,000 more than high school graduates.
Incorrect. That's old data.
That's correct.
How many here?
That's correct.
How many people here would be thrilled earning $70,000 a year right now?
That's higher than the average.
Wrong. According to the Wall Street Journal, hundreds of thousands of high school juniors getting $70,000 a year job offers for not going to college to become plumbers, welders, and electricians. They don't have to go to college. They don't have to get student loan debt. I let you talk. Let me talk.
That has nothing to do with college being a scam or not, though. Because not everyone wants to be a plumber, okay? Great on plumbers, all right? Not every plumber wants to be working in an office. I know plumbers and electricians that would probably not last very long in an office, just like they would not be alive anymore because they would hate being in an office 24/7. They would hate being stuck in a cubicle or doing pronoun creation work like I do in a lab. I work in a pronoun lab. We just make pronouns all day. They don't want to do that, and not everyone wants to be a plumber.
They don't have to go into debt. They don't have to get...
A lot of people would rather make $50K a year, for example, $50K with good benefits and not have to destroy your body for work. And many parents of kids would agree, like, hey, don't do my job. You don't need to be a welder if you don't want to be a welder because it killed my knees and now I can't walk that well. And I'm only 50, so some people don't want to work in those jobs either. But I would never say trade school is a scam or demean those individuals who do those jobs. But Charlie Kirk will demean the college people.
Get any degree. I'm sure almost everyone in this audience would be like, boy, I would kill to earn $70,000 a year. And yet how many people in this audience were told a fair hearing, hey, you don't need to go to 4-year college. You could earn $70,000 as a high school junior to become a welder.
Charlie,
that is not a truth.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that on average, the college graduates earn about 30% higher than trade school graduates.
Well, yeah, that could be distorted by outliers. So if you do median, it'll help. But on average, More people that go to college are wealthy. They have connections, so that number will be skewed in total earnings, most likely. Someone said, sociology, fake science, global warming, feminist BS. That's a big issue with people in college. They just don't believe any of the facts of it. So, like, if you don't believe in facts, then you don't believe in college. This college turned my kid into a liberal snowflake. I don't know what they teach there. At least sociology, or plumbers at least produce, unlike sociology. Bro, you would cry talking about sociology. I mean, plumbing's probably good for you because you would cry talking about pronouns, for example. Your whole life is destructed by pronouns, and your social engagements with your peers and society at large. Sociologists and psychologists study a lot of, and socioeconomics as well, that we do a lot of things that make society run. It's like a coach to a football team or a coach to a basketball team. You're designing like the playbook for how things can run more efficiently.
And
Again,
I agree. There's alternatives. College is not for everyone. I totally agree with you. People could go to trade school. They could start a business. But everything comes with risk. We got to look at what is college promising the students. College is promising access to resources, and it provides
Incorrect. College is
Well, that's it's fair as well to say, like, electives, for example, you can have reform on different campuses where the electives you take are more complementary to your discipline. So have electives that are directly complementary, or at least have electives that the interdisciplinary approach can be done to actually complement your major, like I was saying.
Just implicitly and explicitly through their website and their promotional material tell parents that if you come here, you will have a better life. Instead, that is the sales pitch. I guarantee you, if someone
Please show me one website. I've looked all over the place. I haven't seen a single university that guarantees success or happiness.
Yeah, I don't know what college guarantees success and says you will have a better life guaranteed if you go to this college. That's not a thing.
Hold on a second.
They promise resources.
I just said implicitly and explicitly. Almost every
implicitly and explicitly. Therefore, they cannot say it, but you can say they actually say it by what they say. You implicitly said that.
Single college has on their website preparing leaders for a better tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy. Colleges want to market themselves. That's crazy that private institutions want to market themselves. Wow, dude. Why would a college make it appear on their website as if their students are successful? Why would a college in a market-driven culture and system, why would a college ever make it seem like they do a good job? Holy crap. They are selling a false vision.
Preparing leaders for an ever-changing world. And if you go through that, they have all these deceiving statistics that if you come to this college for 4 years, allow me to finish talking, okay? Again, for 4 years, yep, someone, we're going to keep going, don't stare. We tried to warn about that. Get them some water, too. Yeah, and you get a signed hat. Don't faint just for the signed hat. Of course, I acknowledge that some college graduates do better. That window is increasingly closing. Now, let me ask you another argument that you might not be prepared for. Almost everybody in this audience is studying something that will be irrelevant because of artificial intelligence. Do you think at this school, every single course and every degree is really prepared for the AI revolution that is coming next?
Okay, this is probably the strongest argument in favor of college. We do not want society ran by artificial intelligence and corporations and CEOs who control that AI. Meanwhile, the public and the citizenry have zero capability and zero intelligent, intense, complicated engagement with any of these disciplines. Do you understand how that could be a problem? If we tell Americans, do not go to college, do not be educated, we can trust AI for all of this. And who controls the AI? Who controls all the information? Who controls the entire system? Part of this is about freedom and control. The fact Charlie Kirk is saying you should not go to college to understand any of this because AI is going to do that job. I want human beings to do these jobs, okay? AI should be like a calculator. AI should be complementary. We do not want a society, I promise you. I watch a lot of movies about mass surveillance and what happens when we allow the AI tech overlords to take over society. There are so many dystopian sci-fi, real life now, I guess, biographical, but like real life sci-fi movies that are coming true right now. And we do not want people to be unprepared to the point where we are dumb and we cannot speak and the robots control us. We want people to be able to fend for themselves in the information age, in the marketplace of ideas and all this stuff. It's insane to say we're gonna trade our human free will, all right, our autonomy as humans, to be controlled 100% with all information, with all management, with all CEOs. We're gonna be controlled by the AI overlords. Are you kidding me? That's the best argument I heard for going to college and why there's a social benefit to it when it comes to freedom.
Now, let me ask you a question.
You have to answer mine.
What are your...
For the AI revolution that is coming next.
Now, let me ask you a question.
You have to answer mine.
What are your alternatives?
Oh, I have plenty. So
Yeah.
actually, there's 11 million job openings right now that pay you more than $75,000 a year.
Someone said Charlie Kirk is saying something else. I'm misrepresenting him. You realize that the people who fund Charlie Kirk, Peter Thiel, David Balsack, Elon Musk, you realize they have books about how they want the future to be exactly that. One class that's uneducated and doesn't understand anything. One tech overlord class, all right? The rich and the poor, and then the middleman to control the entire society, the big brother, is going to be AI. That's what all these rich tech guys want to do. And that's why right now with Doge, they're taking away the government's ability to protect our freedom of our information and privacy rights. They just rolled that back this week about our privacy rights. Just because you don't do research and you're stupid and you're going to be walked into the volcano to die along with your fellow cult members doesn't mean we need to agree with your dumbass opinion.
That don't require a college degree. Right now,
But did you know that
11 million.
95%, over 95% of U.S. employers still require a college degree from mid to high roles? And about 40%
I understand
require
that. That's
just
actually,
to get in.
again, you didn't even answer my question. You're dodging it. But that number's coming down. Secondly, 11 million jobs that pay more than $75,000 a year that don't require a college degree. My alternative also is this. If you want to get something specialized, of course go to college. The vast majority of kids that go to college are studying the humanities, soft social sciences, psychology, or communications. They're not studying to become engineers or doctors or nurses, all of which...
Psychology and communications. Why would psychology and communications matter in a area in a time where isolation, social isolation, like sociology, think about sociology, psychology, and communications and how that intersects in the social media age. Studying those three disciplines together is probably the biggest test of our time when it comes to our mental health and our ability to come together as communities in this age of AI and fake news and social media, and no one is in our communities anymore talking to each other. Those disciplines that Charlie Kirk wants to kill are what makes us human. People understanding those things and working on those things is what makes us human. We're gonna all become robots if we follow this Charlie Kirk blueprint.
Which I totally understand. And what you're basically saying, your argument, which is true, but it's fraudulent, come here to get a piece of paper because once you get the piece of paper, then you'll get a job.
That's not true. No one is promising that. College promises access to resources. Access to preparation to leadership doesn't mean guarantee.
Again,
it only gives access.
That is very true what he's saying. Is there an idea where someone says, like a parent thinks if I send my kid to school, they're guaranteed success? That does seem like an entitlement issue with America, though. Like, you can't just expect every single route to lead to success. The issue is if you work hard in college, are you going to get to where you want to get to? Or if you're like good at what you do or whatever else. But like, the idea that you go to college with the idea of I'm going to be guaranteed success. I mean, if that's your mentality, you should not go to college because you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed that stuff. The rich kids are, but a normal person is really not.
Says you are the one responsible. I think it should be merit-based, and people should take accountability for their actions. If they come to college and be lazy, don't take classes, they are gonna achieve nothing.
Do they have job preparedness at this school?
Yes, there is a career guidance center. I went to it.
Hold on, wait. They have a whole center about career preparedness, so they're selling career preparedness.
Yes, and you gotta go and access it yourself.
Point. Wait, hold on. So they're selling.
Time
out. You keep interrupting me, man. Again, do they teach you to interrupt in college this much? It's like you gotta let the other person talk, okay?
Let me be honest. I respect you, but no one interrupts more than you.
At career preparedness centers. Career preparedness centers are implicitly and explicitly telling you you're getting something of value. And again, half the people in this audience, if they get a job, they'll get a job that doesn't require a college degree. They'll be...
You cannot win that discussion. So if you're a college, and Charlie Kirk knows this, if you're a college and you make a center for career services, which are very helpful, by the way, extremely helpful in finding a job after college, then they're just selling the idea of getting a job. And if they don't have that, then hey, look, they don't even want to help you get a job. So either way, it's going to be defeated regardless.
Burdened with debt. It's 4 years of wasted time, talent, and treasure. And finally, and most importantly, almost every one of your careers will be rendered obsolete by AI in the next 10 years.
Hold on, are you denying the data that 1.2 million?
If all of those, if everything's rendered dead by AI, then we need to be having people who are still in these positions to make sure that AI is done ethically. It's whatever. I don't care. It's whatever. We are toast. Cool. All right, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna restart my stream and take some phone calls. I saw some people calling during that. I'm gonna restart all my streams. So if you're watching my stream, reset my page, refresh my page, drop a like, subscribe. I'm gonna start it up right away. Refresh my page. I'll see you in 1 second. Okay. Refresh my page. I'll be right back. Refresh it, refresh it, refresh it. Coming right back.